When I married Carol, she lived in Nashville, Georgia, 200 miles away from here. Carol's life changed when she moved to LaGrange. She was a Christian when she moved here, but it became much more in depth. She was full of life. She was willing to take any dare, any chance. She would drive you nuts. Carol loved to be active. She liked to ride her bicycle. She liked to hike. She was in Pilates. Carol and Susan and Barbara Grantham were three very close friends. We nicknamed them the Three Amigos. On February the 2nd, 2019, my wife Carol and I picked up Rick and Susan and Austin Belcher to go out to have pizza with our friends Charles and Barbara Grantham. On the West Point Road at Teaver Road, a young man crossed the center line and hit us head on. And in a moment, our lives changed. Susan was killed instantly, and Austin was taken off life support 4 days later. When I regained consciousness, the carnage was unbelievable, but somehow or another there was a surreal peace that I knew God was there, and I felt like God was saying, "I've got this, just follow me." When I got to the hospital, it was almost like I verbally had to say, I'm not going to let anger and bitterness control me, even though that was the natural tendency to be angry and bitter about what had happened. I found out that Carol went into cardiac arrest 3 times on the way to Grady Hospital, but she was able to communicate with her eyes, with her children. They called me on the phone, and I was able to tell Carol that I loved her and I would see her again in heaven. The nurse asked Carol if she was ready to meet Jesus, and Carol slipped away. What do I do now? How do I put back the pieces of my life? How do I learn to live alone? How do I take care of myself? And God's answer, His presence was, I'll show you. I will take you step by step, and we'll get through this together. And that's the important thing, is to understand that no matter what you go through, you're not going through it by yourself. He is there. God is with you with every heartbeat. All you have to do is realize that. And it's very important that you know that God is there, and He's going to take care of you. Susan had made the comment for a long time, if anything ever happened, she wanted her and Austin to go together, because she didn't think anybody else could take care of Austin. So I think that God answered her prayer. Now, I don't know what Carol's role was in this deal. That's where faith comes in. Maybe God was protecting Carol from something, but I know that He gave her a reward. When I was told that the 16-year-old kid hit us, I was not going to get tied up in vengeance. So I really forgave him that night. And I realized that with anger and bitterness, it blinds your eyes to what God is doing. And when you banish it, it opens your eyes to a big vision of things, that God is working in a bigger plane than just with you. And I really feel like that was a divine appointment on that road. I came to the conclusion that we went out for pizza that night, but Carol and Susan and Austin went to heaven. And death is not to be feared, because that is the portal to heaven. Many times we do not get to choose our situation, but we always get to choose our attitude. And while we lose the companionship of our lost loved one, we can rest assured that they're safely in the arms of Jesus, and we take great comfort in that. Every one of us has had a God experience, where we want to admit it or not. All we have to do is yield to that experience.